Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing wonderful today. Today I'm here in the park, but I want to share with you 5 ways to simplify your life. I am Lena Cola here on YouTube, and this is a mental health channel. On this channel I speak on psychosocial issues affecting humanity, issues such as depression, anxiety, single parenting, abuse, among other issues. I also motivate and inspire to help you along your journey. If those things interest you, feel free to subscribe and click the notification bell to alert you every time I upload a new video. Also, comment below to introduce yourself. I want to know who you are. Today, I'll be sharing 5 ways to simplify life while I paint this image that I drew in an abstract form. I'm at series 9 out of a 10-part series. I hope that you will like it, and I hope that you will absorb all the relevant information that I'll be sharing with you. The first point in series 9 is that we need to resist the urge to criticize. When we judge or criticize another person, it says nothing about that person. It merely says something about our own need to be critical. Being critical not only solves nothing, it contributes to the anger and distrust in our world. After all, none of us likes to be criticized. Our reaction to criticism is usually to become defensive and/or withdrawn. A person who feels attacked is likely to do one of 2 things. He will either retreat in fear or shame, or he will attack or lash out in anger. Answer this question: how many times have you criticized someone and had them responding by saying,
"Thank you so much for pointing out my flaws. I really appreciate it."
Comment in the comment section below. Guys, I know you will agree with this, that criticism, like swearing, is actually nothing more than a bad habit. Some criticisms are good anyway. It's good for your growth and for your development. In resisting the urge to criticize, the solution is to catch yourself in the act of being critical. Notice how bad it makes you feel and how often you do it. Number 2 is to write down 5 most stubborn positions and see if you can soften them. The first time I tried this strategy, I was so stubborn that I insisted that I wasn't stubborn. Over time, as I have worked toward becoming a gentler person, I have found it far easier to see where I am being stubborn. It is so real. And here are a few examples of people who are being stubborn.
People who aren't stressed or lazy. My way is the only way. Men aren't good listeners. Women spend too much money. Children are too much work. And people in business don't care about anything except money.
You can see the list itself is potentially endless. The point here isn't the specifics of what you're stubborn about, but rather the fact that you hold on tightly to any given idea you might have. It doesn't make you weak to soften your positions. In fact, it makes you stronger. Number 3, just for fun, agree with criticism directed toward you, then watch it go away. And so often, folks, we are immobilized by the slightest criticism, and we treat it like an emergency and defend ourselves as if we were in battle. In truth, however, criticism is nothing more than an observation by another person about us, our actions, or the way we think about something that doesn't match the vision we have of ourselves. That's all it is. I've learned that when we react to criticism with a knee-jerk defensive response, it hurts. We feel attacked and we have a need to defend or to offer a counter criticism. We fill our minds with anger or hurtful thoughts directed at ourselves or at the person who is being critical. And all this reaction takes an enormous amount of mental energy. My friends, an incredibly useful exercise is to agree with criticism directed toward you. I'm not talking about turning into a doormat or ruining your self-esteem by believing all negativity that comes in your direction. What I'm doing here is simply suggesting, or only suggesting, that there are many times when simply agreeing with criticism diffuses the situation and it satisfies a person's need to express a point of view. Often, you get a chance to learn something about yourself by seeing a grain of truth in another person's position. And perhaps most important, provides you an opportunity to remain calm. I have learned that reacting to criticism never makes the criticism go away. In fact, negative reactions to criticism often convince the person doing the criticism that they only are accurate in their assessment of you. Give the strategy a try. I think you'll discover that agreeing with an occasional criticism has more value than it costs. Number 4 is to search for a grain of truth in other opinions. If you enjoy learning as well as making other people happy, you will love this idea that I'll be sharing with you. Almost everybody I know feels that their own opinions are good ones. Otherwise, they wouldn't be sharing them with you. One of the destructive things that many of us do, however, is to compare someone else's opinion to our own. And when it doesn't fall in line with our beliefs, we either dismiss it or we find fault with it, right? And we feel smug, and the other person feels diminished, and we learn nothing at all. If we check it out, almost every opinion has some merit, especially if we're looking for merit rather than looking for errors. So the next time someone offers you an opinion, rather than judge or criticize it, see if you can find a grain of truth in what the person is saying. So if you think about it, when you judge someone else or their opinion, it really doesn't say anything about the other person, but it says quite a bit about your need to be judgmental. In all honesty, from time to time, I still catch myself criticizing other points of view, but you know what? Far less than I used to at this point in my life. All that changed was my intention to find just an ounce of truth in other positions. If you practice this simple strategy, some wonderful things will begin to happen, and you'll begin to understand those you interact with, and others will be drawn to your accepting and loving energy. Your learning curve will be enhanced, and perhaps most important, you'll feel much better about yourself. I'm telling you, this strategy really works wonders. Keep watching to the end, because I'm going to give you a bonus tip. Number 5 is to understand the statement that wherever you go, there you are. This very saying is the title of a super book by John Kabat-Zinn. As the title suggests, wherever you go, you take yourself with you. The significance of this statement is that it can teach you to stop constantly wishing you were somewhere else. We tend to believe that if we were somewhere else, in a different career, in a different home, a different circumstance, on vacation with another partner, that somehow we'd be happier or more content. We really wouldn't. The truth is that if you have destructive mental habits, if you get annoyed and bothered easily, if you feel angry and frustrated a great deal of the time, or if you're constantly wishing things were different, these identical tendencies will follow you wherever you go. And guess what? The reverse is also true. That if you're generally a happy person who really gets annoyed and bothered, then you can move from place to place, from person to person with very little negative impact. So my friends, as you focus more on becoming more peaceful with where you are, rather than focusing on where you'd rather be, then you will begin to find peace right now in the present. Then, as you move around, try new things and meet new people, you carry that sense of inner peace with you. And it is absolutely true that wherever you go, there you are. You'll begin to find more love in the world. You'll begin to see the beauty in the things around you. You'll begin to find more meaning in the world itself. Here is a bonus tip for Series 9. And it's simply to breathe before you speak. This simple strategy has had a remarkable results for virtually everyone who I know who has tried it. If you try this, you'll find that the almost immediate results include increased patience, added perspective, and as a side benefit, more gratitude and respect from others. This strategy has proven to be effective. The strategy itself is remarkably simple, and it involves nothing more than pausing, nothing more than breathing after the person to whom you are speaking is finished. At first, the time gap between your voices may seem like eternity, but in reality, it amounts to only a fraction of a second of actual time. You will get used to it. There's power and the beauty of breathing, and you will come to appreciate it as well. It will bring you closer to and earn you more respect from virtually everyone you come in contact with. Please know that I offer memberships on my channel. I have 3 membership levels. Please click join to view the perks and select from the best offer for you. Email me and let me know how I can serve you as best as possible. You will find that being listened to is one of the rarest and most treasured gifts you can offer. All it takes is really intention and practice. And if you observe the conversations around you, my friend, will notice that often what many of us do is simply wait for our chance to speak. We're not really listening to the other person, but we're simply waiting for an opening to express our own point of view. We often complete other people's sentences or say things like yeah, or I know very rapidly, urging them to hurry up so that you can have your turn to speak. This hurried form of communication, my friends, encourages us to criticize points of view, overreact, misinterpret meaning, impute false motives, and form opinions all before our fellow communicator is finished speaking. So no wonder we are often so annoyed, bothered, and irritated by one another. Sometimes with our poor listening skills, it's a miracle that we have any friends at all. So no need to worry that you won't get your turn to speak. You will. In fact, it will be more rewarding to speak because the person you are speaking to will pick up on your respect and patience and will begin to do the very same thing. So often we interrupt others when they're talking. So often we interject. So often we try to finish their sentences. So often we try to interpret what the other person is saying before they finish talking. And it can be the most annoying thing that I come up on. So sometimes it happens so much that when you are quietly listening, the person who you're talking to may think that you are really not participating because they are expecting you to interject. They're expecting you to be defensive, to have your own point of view, to jump in with your points. It is more effective, and I say this all the time, to listen, and then after listening to the individual, then you give your point of view. And life is an experience of learning. And in life, you will grow and learn. But the most important thing is, after you get these lessons, is that you practice them effectively. From time to time, I'll tell you, I'll catch myself. But it is all about practicing so that you can become a more effective listener, become a more effective communicator, and you will formulate better relationships with your friends and family around you. Try these simple methods that I'm sharing with you, and you will be amazed at how much more respect you get, at how much better you will communicate, and how people will listen to you more when you speak. So let us recap. 1 was to resist the urge to criticize others. Rather than criticizing, you listen, right? And number 2 was to write down your 5 most stubborn positions and see if you can soften them. Then we move on to number 3, which was, just for fun, please agree with criticism directed toward you and then watch it go away. Then we jump into number 4. It says, search for the grain of truth in other opinions. And then number 5 is to understand the statement that wherever you go, there you are. For the bonus tip, please let us breathe before speaking, as this can help us to get more respect, and it will help us to respect others. It will also help us to communicate in a better way and help us to have better conversations with those who are around us. These ways are beautiful ways to explore. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section about this series number 9. So guys, I want you to know that I'm an author of a children's book. This book, Richard Wants a Moon, is available on Amazon. It is also for children age 1 to 8 years old. It helps to build the brain, it promotes learning, and it also helps children to be creative. So get your copy now on Amazon.com. Here is the finished product of my lady. It is abstract form of painting, and I hope you like it. Click the next video on the screen, and I'll see you in the next video.